What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another glorious financial tip of the month from F3 Capital. With you, as always, I'm Nathan Fox. I'm a financial advisor, and I'm the managing partner of F3 Capital. Today, for the tip of the month, I'm going to be talking about why you are broke. Now, I know people that will see this title or hear that, and it'll ruffle some feathers. It might be a bit provocative, but at the end of the day, the purpose of this video is to help people maximize their true financial potential. And so if you're watching this and you feel like you're not at the true potential you should be, you feel like you're unsure of how you can improve, or you're just not where you want to be, today's video will be for you. And so I hope by the end of this, you can all glean at least one good piece of information from this to take into your own world and act. And so before I begin, I just want everyone who is watching to know that today is for information purposes. We do this to educate. We do this to get people to start thinking about their finances. And if you've enjoyed our videos in the past, please give us a like, a subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. And if you can hang on until the end of this video, I'm going to put up an offer so that everyone can take advantage, and this doesn't just have to be another video that you consume and not act upon. And so today I'm going to share 3 principles in the wealth building process that'll prevent you from being broke, if implemented correctly, of course. And what I have found is in nearly 20 years of practice helping people maximize their true financial potential, that there are some commonalities amongst really successful people. And so as I'm introducing this topic, before I get into the 3 principles, it starts with the mentality and the relationship that you have with money, your self-talk about money. Often you will people out there who are very negative when it comes to personal finance. They'll politicize it. They'll often use terms like, well, money won't buy you happiness. Money doesn't grow on trees. They feel like they're always the victim. And at the end of the day, it is largely within our control how successful we are financially. And so first, we need to understand that money is neither good nor bad, right? We need to be objective. We need to promote positive and healthy relationships with our money so that we can go in, control what we can control, and get to where we want to be financially. And so money is like a game, right? There are rules to the game. And if you understand the game, you can use the rules and exploit the rules ethically, of course, to your advantage. So let's get into the video. Let's dive right in. Let's talk about how you can be better with your financial future by using these 3 principles. The first principle that successful individuals deploy with their wealth is they understand expense ratios. Broadly speaking, they understand what's coming in and what's going out in terms of expenses. So an expense ratio is the amount of the expense divided by your gross income. So if you have an expense that's $2,000 per month and you're making $10,000, that is a 20% expense ratio. And individuals that are operating on a high level with their wealth, they're very much in tune. They know what their expenses are and they're managing it. And they're not overspending on their expenses because they understand what they're making and where it's going. The 2 major areas of expenses that people cripple themselves financially are on their homes and on their cars. So to just quickly wrap up this first tip, number 1, have a process and an understanding of where your money's going and what percentage that is of your income. And then as some general advice, make sure that you're not overspending on your homes and your cars. And so what is overspending? What is too much money? And so for a home and for a mortgage, I advise that people do not have an expense ratio on their home of greater than 25 to 30%. That means someone making $10,000 a month should not be spending more than $2,500 to $3,000 a month on their mortgage, right? Keep it at the 25 to 30%. Cars. I love cars. I love nice cars. I have a finer taste for them, and I'm not out there to give advice to say people can't drive the car that they want to drive, but if your car is more than 8 to 10% expense ratio, then you should not be in that car. That means someone making $10,000 a month should be somewhere around $800 at most to $1,000 at the absolute most on the expense ratio with their car. Now, if your entire livelihood is made up for your driving, that's different. I'm not talking about just getting to and from work. Keep your home and your car payment to right around 30 to 35% at the absolute most expense ratio. This will allow 65% of the rest of your money to be deployed elsewhere. So be in tune with your expense ratios, understand proper thresholds, and if you want to see my full list of expense ratios from food to other expenses, there's a link in the description below. Please click it. You can schedule a meeting, and I will share with you or email you a copy of all of our appropriate expense ratios. Principle number 2 that people that are successful with their wealth adhere to is that they have a clinical and established savings plan. They incorporate typically a pay yourself first mentality. This means that people that are saving and incorporating the pay yourself first mentality treat their savings like it's a bill. They pay themselves first every month. They remove the money from their ability to spend it, and they're targeting about a 25% savings rate. So these are people who, for example, the same example, making $10,000 a month, they're targeting $2,500 of savings per month. They're paying themselves first, and then additionally, they're automating it. They're automating their wealth for efficiency, automation for wealth creation. They force that money out on an ongoing basis consistently. And so as an example, my wife and I, we have a pay yourself first mentality, and we're spreading out every month at roughly the same time. Our money's going to over 10 different types of strategies. We're consistent with it. We're constantly improving it. And this allows us to stay in control of our destiny, and it creates that power of compound interest in time. It's a highly efficient process to automate it, to have a pay yourself first mentality, and to establish a 25% savings rate. If you're not there right now, that's okay. If you got to start at 1%, start at 1%. But successful people with their money are going to have a saving strategy. They're going to deploy the money that they're making optimally through various investment strategies. You can talk to a financial advisor about this. You can put money into broad-based index funds, ETFs, growth funds. You can do real estate, whatever it is for you, that's going to be individualized, but pay yourself first. Target 25% savings rate, and then that'll bring you into the third principle. And the third principle that successful people deploy, which keeps them from being broke, is they know why they're doing what they're doing. Broadly speaking, more broadly, they have a time horizon behind what they want. They know the end goal. They've refined. Maybe they have smaller goals to hit big goals. I frequently see individuals with their wealth, there's really no end goal. They save a little bit one month, they save a little the other, and they're kind of being pushed all over the place. They're getting some advice from maybe family members, some advice from friends, but they haven't put a time frame behind it. They haven't put an end goal. And so the third principle is know why you're doing what you're doing. Set the time horizon, set the parameters. I want to have $1 million by the time I'm 40. I want to have $1 million by the time I'm retired. I want to live off of $5,000 a month and not run out. Whatever that goal is, set the terms of the goal. This will allow you to reverse engineer, what you're doing now to see if that end goal is doable. And it will put you in a position of clarity, right? You'll know that you're on pace to achieve what you want to do. And often this is delayed gratification. Knowing that the results will come through a process where number one, you know your expense ratio. So principle one, you know where your money's going from an expense standpoint. You have rules behind what you're willing to do so that you can focus on step two, a pay yourself first mentality with a 25% savings rate. You then combine that with knowing where you want to be, setting the terms of it so that you can have a time horizon behind what you want, and so you can hold yourself accountable to get there. And so, as always, stay tuned for more tips of the month. And as promised, the offer down below is a complimentary consultation with our firm. We will walk through these principles with you. We'll share with you insights of how you can improve. The link's in the description below. You click it. It allows you to auto book on our calendar so that you can sit down with us either on a phone call, a Zoom, or if you'd like to come into one of our 2 locations, you will see those as well. Thank you, and I look forward to sharing more tips of the month with you soon.